Hello, this is Pharaoh Vincent with Nation 473, coming to you guys today with video on fleets, specifically around mid-range and long-range fleets. I wanted to talk about the Challenge Elite Zombie. Sadly, this is a hard one to get footage for, so we're going to talk about the fleets more of a conceptual nature, just because getting the amount of footage you would need for this would take weeks, and we'll discuss. I'm going to pick a kind of an interesting screen because luckily with the Challenge Elite Zombie, you can actually do your fleets from this section because it's not cross nation at all and you don't have to worry about it. You can come here. The other nice thing is you can hit, all of your troops here. It's just a nice, easy way to view it. So with your elite zombies, both mid-range and long-range are going to start off the same. You're going to want one of each type of your melee troops. So again, there are 4 different types. For anyone who's not aware, you have your Titan infantry. These are the axes, right? Hell tanks or tanks. Wasteland King would be your shredder, right? That's a T10 shredder. And the armored soldier is, I don't know, I think a lot of people just call it armored soldier sometimes. That one's the least talked about, even though I have things to say about this unit. But we'll get into that later. And here's where the biggest deviation starts, right? Because a mid-range city versus a long-range city are going to handle this very different. And I don't have perfect troop counts for this. I have decent troop counts, but it's kind of all over the board and not exactly the best. But ideally for a mid-range city, you'd want to put in 1 of everything except for your stormtroopers, and then 3 back row. And I say 3 like 3 different unit types. I recommend the sniper, the cannon, like regular cannon, and the shielder because they have the least total unit types, right? If you use an EMP cannon, that's 10 units that you're using up, whereas the others are 1, 5, and 5. You can see that number right here, right? 1 unit, 5, 5. And then ideally, you can max this out to a full fleet. Now, I don't have that capability, so we can talk about what standard deviations I make, right? But the reason we do a 3 back, right, is what'll end up happening is the Mutant Ghoul, specifically, will attack your front row first, and it'll kill 1 unit at a time of your front row. It'll then go in and kill your bike. Oh, well, I suppose, yeah. Oh, we did put that in there. So it'll then go in and kill your bike, your zombies, your rocket, your Gatling gun, and then it's going to pop back here, kill the sniper, the doomsday cannon, the shielder, and then just barely get to your stormtroopers as the match ends. This works perfectly if you do not have golems or a blue warplane. If you do have golems or a blue warplane, you still want to keep the setup the same way just about. The only real difference is you could, at some point or another, drop the shielder or the cannon. I do recommend the shielder over the cannon. The cannon does slightly more damage because of its special ability. But you could drop the shielder and be fine. And that's it. Once you get the golems, you can drop shielder, but that's as far as you'll be able to go until you hit the last one, which is when your golems take 2 hits, which does happen at a certain point. There's a point in which your golems from your warplane will take 2 hits from the Mutant Ghoul. And when that happens, you completely change this. You can flip this on its head entirely. So The Ghoul version, so again, this is where you have your golems from your war plan. They take 2 hits. You'll actually drop down significantly. So what I would highly recommend for pretty much everyone under the sun, it depends a little bit on whether or not you have like your C-37 or not. So let's talk about C-37, or I mean, I guess a C-30 could technically do this too. I just don't know of any C-30s with golem warplanes that take 2 hits. But once your warplane takes 2 hits, what you're going to want to do is put a single unit of Stormtrooper and then max out rockets with 1 of each melee, right? So you keep the 1 of each melee. That never changes. This, no matter what, is not going to change. But what ends up happening is your golems will take up 2 hits. So it basically goes 2 units die, 2 hits, right? 2 units die, 2 hits. He walks a little bit, hits your Stormtrooper, has to hit 2 units, and then is going to start hitting your zombies until it dies, right? And there's not much you can do to really prevent that. So just heads up there. But it is the highest damaging unit because at that point you've eliminated all the superfluous units, but you also then get maxed out like T-12 rockets. It's really good. If you're C-37, you just replace the rockets with bikes. Because the T-12 bikes are amazing for that. They have their uptime of their ability from the first 30 seconds of the fight, and the fight lasts 40 seconds. So you are only missing out on 10 seconds, so you basically get like a 90% uptime on the bike special. Same thing if you're technically T10, and you're using T9 units, and again, you have a golem rank so high that it takes 2 hits. I'm not there yet, so if you are, let me know down in the comments. I know Champ is, so this is why I'm bringing this up. Just because he recently was asking me like, hey, should I change this? And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that. All right. So long range is similar in all respects, except you have way more wiggle room to play with. So again, the 1 unit is just the 1 unit, right? With a long range city, guess what? You can add 1 of each mid row because you have the maximum amount of time. You're always going to want 4 back. And the reason being is you want it to take as much time as possible to get all the way back. When you do 3 back row units, the Mutant Ghoul will skip the Stormtroopers. If you have 4 units, for whatever reason, if you have 4 units in the back row, it will walk across the middle of the map and start hitting the Stormtroopers. And so it actually buys you an extra like second or 2. It's kind of cool. And then from here, once you get all, at least 1 unit, you're going to want to max your highest tier, either cannon or sniper, depending on what rank you are, right? So if you're a C-34, you're going to go with Doomsday Cannons. If you are a C-36, you're going to go with the Eagle Eye Shot, aka the snipers. And if you're C-38, you're probably still going to go with the snipers. The snipers do really good single target damage on Mutant Ghoul. And the only reason I say that is because, I don't think the T-12 EMP cannon's going to outperform. I don't know that well. So if you happen to be C-38, let me know down in the comments what you've noticed. I have not been able to play with that part yet. But you're looking at maxing that out. If, you're like me and you don't have a lot of long-range troops, you can always max out cannons and snipers. It's not a big deal. And there's going to be that transitionary period when you get to that next tier. So for instance, if you're a C35 going to C36, you have that transition where you're going to have some of your T11s and you're moving into the higher sniper counts. It happens. So you just kind of get used to it. Now, I say this as unit type because you can really apply this across all levels, right? So it doesn't matter what city rank you are, you can kind of do this. The only difference is at the earliest stages of the game, you're probably not going to have a lot of units, so you're more than welcome to fill in with whatever you need to get to a full fleet. My shout out units, right, that tend to do the most damage. Gatling guns do a lot of damage for mid-row. Bikes do a lot of damage for mid-row, but they die first. So bikes are a little bit of a tricky thing where they do die so fast. A lot of the times they're not useful over like the rockets in a way because there's more units between them. But if you're on an even number tier, you're more than welcome to fill up with bikes. Back row, snipers are the king. The cannons are second. Then EMP cannons. Then shielders. And shielders are really bad, unfortunately. So it's not that they don't do a decent hit or per hit damage. It's just that they don't have a special that goes off that helps you really at all. If you happen to be that one melee guy asking me, well, what do I do for Mutant Ghoul? I don't know. Good luck. I would recommend, because of the way the hit order goes, here's the caveat. For the way the hit order goes, you could technically do one tank, one shredder, max axes, and armored infantry. Or armored infantry, right? So you basically switch between axes or armored infantry. And that's just because that one unit of tanks or that one unit of shredders will disintegrate. But it's not lowering your power all that much. That's why we put the single unit, is because the ghoul does the same damage no matter if it's 1 unit or 1,000 units, and it takes quite a few in order to take a hit from them. So this is kind of maximizing our ability to deal damage without using a lot of troops. So I know that's a lot of information. Oh, I forgot the most important part. So, okay. If you are so fortunate as to have multiple, hits and your long range, right? So your golems from your warplane take 2 hits and you're a long range city. Unfortunately, you can't just put a rocket in there, right? For the T12s. The rockets don't walk quite far enough to hit up his aggro radius, and so it's just going to lock onto your zombies right after that anyway. So you don't want to do that. Your choices are either bike or my personal favorite is just 1 T11 Gatling gun or 1 Gatling gun, and then max snipers. And this works wonders. And the reason being is the Gatling gun walks just barely far enough that it gets you an extra hit before it locks onto your zombies. And your zombies do a lot of damage, so that's why we're trying to protect them for as long as possible. And so you're going to get the most bang for your buck out of that. So just as a heads up, it's similar to what we're doing with the mid-range. It's just a little bit more nuanced. And it tends to work a little better. So those are the 4 main fleets for zombies specifically. So I hope that helps everyone just kind of understand, hey, this is a little bit more about the Mutant Ghoul and how to maximize your damage. And really, a lot of it's on like, hey, how do you get up here? Like, how do you get to the top of these ranks for your alliance? Just because you do get some decent rewards from this, right? Like, that's 18 1-hour recruitment speeds that I get and 35 material chests every week. So once a week, I'm getting 18 hours of speed ups and 18 hours, and 35 chests and some biochemical materials, which I need because my zombies are low still. Right? And that's what Champ always gets because he's a jerk. I'll catch up to him someday. Maybe, hopefully, possibly. God, I wish. Anyways, I'll leave you guys with that. Just some fun little back and forth banter. So, again, if you guys kind of like this content, please subscribe to my channel. It really helped me out a lot. And if you have any other ideas for content, please let me know down in the comments below and consider giving this video a like so it's shared to more people. Let's get the word out there. Let's keep figuring out this game and how to really play it the most efficiently without spending a fortune. So, I appreciate you guys and have a good rest of your day.